All right, what is happening? How's everybody doing today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. So I've been getting a lot of requests here on the channel to make some top tier Warzone setups, and today what I got for you guys is an absolutely incredible setup that I think could be the best in Warzone. I know people like using the Grau, they like using their AMAX, they like using, the Fin LMG. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that gets thrown around as like the meta, but one gun has actually stayed true, or two guns have stayed true since the beginning of Warzone being introduced, and that is the M4A1 and the MP5. So I figured, why not bring you guys the top tier or the best loadout to use in Warzone here right now. Before we get into that though, if you guys could do me a favor and smash 6 likes here on today's video. It's a pretty high like goal, but I think we could definitely break it. And I want to point out as well that if you guys happen to be watching this video and you're not yet subscribed, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on so you do not miss out on any of my Call of Duty Modern Warfare videos, and of course Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. With that being said, let's break down this class setup in its entirety and then actually show you guys some gameplay. Okay, so the first thing right here is that we have to mention, of course, we're running the M4A1 and then of course the MP5. The perks though I happen to be running here on this class, this is meant to be a first loadout type of class, and you're going to get your ghost loadout here second. But the first loadout we're going to be running is we have EOD, we have Overkill, then we have Amped as our 3 perks that we're going to be running. This is an incredibly solid setup. You can definitely switch out EOD for something like maybe Cold-Blooded, but I do happen to find that EOD is very, very good, especially the amount of explosives like C4 that gets thrown around at you in Warzone. So definitely go ahead and run that. Then I have the C4 Snack Pack Sandwich, and of course the heartbeat sensor. This is always really, really good, especially for earlier to mid, and sometimes even late game. Having a heartbeat sensor on is always really good. So let's jump into this here. We're going to create the top tier M4A1 Warzone loadout for you, and then of course we're going to go through and make the MP5 one. So let's actually jump into this here. The first thing we're going to be taking a look at is of course the muzzle category, and here's what we're going to be taking a look at. So we have flash guard, breach device, tactical suppressor, muzzle brake, the lightweight, the compensator, and the monolithic. And then I should say that basically all these things that are not suppressors, like the compensator, the muzzle brake, the breach device, and the flash guard, are going to be entirely useless because that's going to put you on the radar, and they don't really add that much more of an inherent benefit to using them. Like genuinely, there's really not much benefit. Like this lowers your muzzle velocity or your bullet velocity, which definitely is not a good thing, especially when you're getting those long range engagements. So basically, we're going to stay away from anything that takes away from your bullet velocity damage range, aka we're going to basically skip over the lightweight suppressor. And so basically, it leaves us with 2 options here: the monolithic and the tactical. And I should say that the tactical is a pretty early level unlock, so you should use that until you have the monolithic. But if you have the monolithic, go ahead and slap this bad boy on here. This is going to be our first attachment here for the M4A1. Jumping into the barrel category, we have a few different options here, a total of 5. We have the Commando, the Grenadier, the TAC Light, the Corvus Custom Marksman, and the FSS 12.4 Predator. We're going to be skipping over the Predator, the TAC Light, and the Commando because those are just kind of not barrels we really ever want to use. And we basically have 2 options here. We have the M16 Grenadier barrel, then we have the Corvus Custom Marksman. Basically both of these are kind of up for grabs of people like running one or the other, maybe a little bit more. But for me personally, I find that what's actually going to do me the most good is actually going to be the stock M16 Grenadier barrel. This has basically been my barrel to run on the M4, whether it be multiplayer or Warzone. This is going to be the barrel I want to run and basically be able to dominate everything in the entire lobby with. So we're going to go ahead and slap this on here as our second attachment for our M4. Now we are down into the underbarrel category. We have a variety of options. Basically what I always say is that we are going to skip over all this BS in here, like the M203s, the 12 gauge deputy. The only reason you'd ever want to run this is essentially maybe if the 12 gauge somehow got broken like it did for the underbarrel on the FAMAS. That'd be the only time you'd ever want to use this, but otherwise you don't really ever want to do that. So we have obviously the Merc foregrip, the Commando foregrip. We have our tactical, which I always end up skipping over, the Ranger, and then the operator. But we're basically going to skip over the operator and the tactical because I think basically the Ranger, the Merc, and the Commando almost outclass them at any sort of abilities they happen to have. So we're basically chalking those 2, and we have the options here of the Ranger, the Merc, and then the Commando. So essentially what I'm going to come down to is that I'm not going to run the Merc just because I don't really feel like the Merc is that beneficial on the M4. I don't really think it's that good. But you can actually go down here and run the Ranger foregrip. I've definitely done that plenty of times. It's definitely a really solid foregrip. So depending on if I was making a bit more of a different mobility type of build, I would put on the Ranger foregrip to increase my recoil control a little bit more. But because we already have a good amount of recoil control with the M16 barrel, we're going to go ahead and slap on the Commando foregrip here, as this is a really solid foregrip to run on our M4A1, and you guys are genuinely really gonna like this setup. So this is gonna be attachment number 3. Now we're down here at attachment number 4, and this is gonna be for our ammunition category. We have 4 different options here. You know, attachment number 4 different options. You guys get what I'm saying here? Anyways, we have, you know, the 50 round mag, the 60 round mag, the PAR 32, and then the SOCOM. Basically, we're chalking these bottom 2 because, well, first of all, we're not trying to make this an SMG. Like, there's no way on God's green earth anyone's ever in the right mind gonna use this as an SMG. So don't ever use this. It's not good. It really genuinely isn't. Then we have the 4058 SOCOM. I don't really think, honestly, I've ever used this in Modern Warfare. I like, legitimately, I looked at this, I was like, this is so unbelievably buns. Why would I actually ever throw this on? Basically, one of the best ARs in the game. So this leaves us with 2 attachment choices here, the 50 round mag and the 60 round mag. And to be honest with you, to keep it a full buck, we need a lot of ammo. This gives us 30 round stock, but 50 to me is not quite enough. So we're gonna go down here, we're gonna choose the 60 round magazine to throw on our M4A1. And man, this is just gonna be it. I mean, just because you need those rounds, man. If you're playing, you know, even solos, duos, quads, trios, I mean, just the more people you encounter, the more people that are going to have armor, the more bullets you're going to have to dispense. So if you can line down 60 rounds pretty, you know, accurately, I mean, you're going to be able to probably take out an entire squad within a single clip, as opposed to if you're on the 50 round, you may be a little bit out of luck, put in a tough situation. Just do yourself a favor, run the 60, and call it a day. This is attachment number 4. For our attachment number 5 here, we're actually going to jump into the laser category just because the sights on this is so good. We don't necessarily need a rear grip. So we have 3 different options here. We have the 1MW laser, the 5MW, and the TAC laser. These all have different benefits to them, but more or less they revolve around your ADS speed, your hipfire accuracy, etc., so on and so forth. But basically, we are going to chalk this one because we don't really need, you know, any hipfire accuracy with the 1MW laser. The 5MW laser gives us hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed, which is definitely really good. That's, you know, a definitely really solid option. Then we have the TAC laser, which then gives us ADS speed, aiming stability, and a mocking steadiness. So this gives us 3 different benefits. Of course, has the con that is, you know, visible to enemies. Same as this one, the 5MW laser is also visible to enemies, but that, you know, that doesn't really matter too much because with this class up, this allows to be very mobile and aggressive. So basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw on the TAC laser, as this is going to improve our ADS speed because we have a really heavy barrel on there, which is going to give us all that range. It's going to improve our aiming stability, so we're going to be able to be more accurate, hit more shots, and of course our aim locking steadiness. It's going to help us when we're aiming, you know, and shooting people, you know, and kind of strafing around a little bit. This is overall a really good attachment, and so this is going to be my M4A1, you know, attachments here that you guys are really genuinely going to love. You could use this in multiplayer too, and in Warzone, obviously, because that's what this video is made for, but this is really good. So now let's hop straight into the MP5. So now with the MP5 here, we're actually going to jump straight into the muzzle category as well, like we did with the M4A1. Like I was saying with the M4, we're basically going to be chalking all these different attachments that basically aren't suppressors. So the breacher device, compensator, muzzle brake, flash guard, we ain't going to be doing it. We ain't having any of it. So we essentially have the tactical suppressor, like I was saying previously, that if you don't happen to have the monolithic, go ahead and throw in the tactical. What we should do is avoid the lightweight just because it is not worth it to lose any of your damage range. So we're just going to go ahead and choose the monolithic suppressor here. Granted, there is an integral monolithic. You can definitely do that. So I would just say, you know, throw on the monolithic, go for it. I mean, it's really personal preference. I like the way the gun looks a little bit more when I throw on the monolithic on the muzzle as opposed to the integral. I just like it. I mean, it's really personal preference. There's hardly any, you know, variance in them. It just really comes down to what do you like the look of, you know, what feels better in your hands. For me, it's having the monolithic on the end of the gun. Now we are down here in the underbarrel category, and we have obviously a variety of options. They made it very simple. Thank God they didn't have any sort of underbarrel weirdness going on here with the M203s and the shotgun stuff. I mean, I don't think that'd even be possible in the MP5, but I mean, it's a game, they definitely could make it happen. Anyways, we have the commando, the merc, the ranger, tactical, and the operator. We're chalking these bottom 2. We don't need them. They're not necessary. The ranger was definitely a vibe when I was using it. I was really digging it. You know, the merc is definitely really good, and also the commando. But I mean, we need a little bit more than what the commando is going to offer us, and because this is going to be a close quarters weapon, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to choose the merc foregrip because this helps their recoil control, also helps their hip fire accuracy. I mean, this doesn't give us that movement speed bonus like it used to, that 3% movement speed bonus, but hey, it's still really good, and this is a close quarters gun after all, so the more hip fire accuracy you can get, that could be, you know, the difference between a life and death situation of, you know, you getting a victory and basically dying pretty early on in the game. So just go ahead, throw this on there. We're going to take this as our number 2 attachment. Now we're in the ammunition category. Here we have 2 different choices for our number 3 attachment. And this, a lot of people kind of like to, go back and forth and say, oh, the 30 rounds better, the 45 rounds better. But because, this is a different ammunition, but it gives you more damage, more range, but it also decreases your fire rate, decreases your control. And I'm just going to keep it a stack and a half with you guys here and say that the 45 round is going to be what you want to run. I don't see basically any top tier streamers running the MP5 without the 45 round magazine, and myself included. I never run this with the 30 round. I just don't think it is nearly as good, for that trade-off. I need more than 30 rounds in my magazine, and especially in Warzone, if I'm playing anything more than solos, I'm going to be coming across more than one guy at a time. So you just need 45 rounds. I like this. I really do. And just trust me, put this on there, use it. You're going to thank me later. Now we're up here in the laser category here. Once again, like we were on the M4, this is, like I was saying, going to be a pretty aggressive build. And of course, this is going to help us here with our close quarters encounter. So we have the 1MW, 5MW, and tac laser, much like we did on the M4. And honestly, what we're actually trying to do here is, because this actually has a very, very fast, sprint to fire speed. It's the MP5. It's very easy, and you're already going to be able to hip fire with it like a madman. We don't need the 1MW. I don't really know why that's an attachment. I guess that's just more or less a base attachment until you start leveling up and get the 5MW and the tac laser. But you can see there's different sorts of things here. But essentially what we're going to end up going with is going to be the 5MW laser, because what we want is just a bit more hip fire accuracy. We got the Merc foregrip to complement that already, and we want a little bit more sprint to fire speed. We just want to be able to, get our gun out faster when we're coming into those close quarter situations, and I think that is far more beneficial than throwing on something like, your ADS speed, your aiming stability, aim locking steadiness. I'm picking this gun up, and just, swapping over only in very close quarter situations. So I'm not going to be using this for range, and that's not like, what this build is geared towards. So what you want to do is throw on the 5MW laser, call it a day. And like I said, with the other attachments, you're going to thank me later. Seriously, we're going to put this on here, number 4 attachment. And last but definitely not least, what we're going to have to do is go into the PERK category, because honestly, we got a lot of really good attachments already. And what we're going to do is we're going to finish this build off by putting on some sleight of hand. And I say this because, if you're playing those game modes where you're going to be coming into a lot of different people, throwing on sleight of hand can be more beneficial than you will even realize. Your AR, you don't necessarily need that. When you get to your SMG and you're literally just going back and forth, plating up, and you're going real crazy with it, having sleight of hand, but you having it versus the other guy not having it, could be a real big difference of you getting that extra magazine in there and, pumping some lead into him, taking off all his plates, downing him, versus, you guys having another fight, maybe drawing it out, attracting more attention to you. It's a big difference. So we're gonna go ahead and throw on sleight of hand. This is gonna be our full-on MP5 build. You guys are gonna definitely want to run this. This is absolutely incredible. I really like it. So this is a really solid setup to be able to run here in Warzone with the MP5 M4A1. Definitely go ahead and use this. But with that all being said, let's actually hop into some of the highlights of me actually using this setup. There we go.
You're so
down one up front.
Good. His dumbass friends inside. I got them. They're dead. Oh, that was not
got
wise
one down.
By me. That was, I shouldn't have sprinted in.
So you said the second one should be EOD Ghost Amp. Was that correct?
No, but he just killed some nerd with an origin.
Yeah.
I was about to. I thought honestly let him have it, but Chuck set him down and had they had a little sit down. Somebody
what kind of gun do you recommend for a secondary?
There's another one still.
Like a Magnum or Snake Shot if you can. I don't know, whatever secondary you want.
There's still someone here.
You definitely have an overkill class.
I already have my main overkill class, but I'm trying to make a ghost.
On me. Woo.
Nice.
All right. Squad wipe.
Guy flying in on your right, Chuck. Guy flying in on your right.
Appreciate that. Your FOV just got me. Just saved me.
Crank, IPG 7 bow, and that Nomad fella.
Appreciate that.
It doesn't really matter. Fuck, you can do whatever you want. I'm going right for that loadout.
Oh yeah, there's somebody here. On
the loadout?
whoever on this stuff.
Enemy UAV overhead.
This guy's
You got
top.
any, AR?
Yeah, here.
Thank you. And do you have maybe an armor plate or two I can borrow? You got him. Thank you. Oh shit, you made it rain on a fella.
I'm having a pretty good game.
Blues, you're done here.
It's okay, we just hit at like the exact same time. That was very weird. We synchronized that shit. Jesus, Chuck, the hard.
Yo. I got 9. Wow, I didn't realize. All right, P, are you just running away?